A real estate agent handed me a flyer last weekend at an open house. The headline across the top said, "Your starter home awaits." The photo was a 1,500 square foot split level with original windows and a kitchen that hadn't been updated since the Clinton administration. The price underneath the photo? $749,900. I stared at it for a solid 30 seconds. In what universe is $750,000 a starter anything? A starter yacht, maybe, but a fixer-upper in a regular suburban cul-de-sac? And today, we're going to run the actual math on who can afford a $750,000 house in 2026, because the real estate industry has clearly lost the ability to use words correctly, and somebody needs to sit down with a calculator and figure out what is actually happening. And before you scroll away because $750K isn't on your radar, stay with me. What's happening at this price point is the canary in the coal mine for every price point below it. The distortions breaking $750K homes today will break $400K homes by 2029. Let's dive into the math. Let's start with what $750,000 actually gets you. Right now, in Arlington, Virginia, there's a 1,600 square foot house built in 1957. The listing says it has great bones, which is just real estate code for rip it out. The inspection notes the roof has 2 years left. And that house is not an anomaly. It's the median in Arlington, Fairfax, parts of Boston, coastal San Diego, Seattle, Boulder, and nearly any zip code within commuting distance of New York. In San Francisco, $750K doesn't even get you a house. It gets you a 600 square foot one-bedroom condo with shared laundry in the basement. This is the American dream in 2026. Now, let's do the down payment math, because this is where most people's home ownership dreams quietly expire. 20% down on a $750,000 house is $150,000. Let that land. $150,000 in cold, hard cash ready to wire to a title company. The Federal Reserve puts the median American household's transaction account balance at around $8,000. You could drain the median household's entire savings account 18 times over and still not be close. Even if you somehow save 15% of your gross income every year, it would take you 12 years to hit 20% down on the median income. And here is a statistic that will sit with you all day. The median age of a first-time homebuyer in America in 2025 hit 40 years old. Your grandparents owned 2 houses by 40. The American adulthood timeline has been pushed back by a full decade. So nobody is putting 20% down. Most people put down 5% or 10% and meet a new friend called PMI, Private Mortgage Insurance. On a $750K loan, this runs between $200 and $450 a month, a recurring tax for the inconvenience of not being rich. Let's say you aggressively put 10% down, $75,000. Your loan is $675,000. At current mortgage rates hovering around 6.3%, your monthly principal and interest comes out to about $4,177. Now add property taxes. Let's call it $6,750 a year at the national average, so add $563 a month. Next, homeowners insurance. Insurance premiums have jumped 57% since 2019. On a $750K home nationally, budget around $400 a month. Finally, maintenance. The standard rule is 1% of the home's value per year. On $750K, that's $7,500 a year, or roughly $625 a month. Let's stack it up. Principal and interest, $4,177. Property taxes, $563. Insurance, $400. Maintenance, $625. PMI, $280. Total monthly housing cost, roughly $6,045. Over $6,000 a month, and that's in a middle tax state with no hurricanes or wildfires. The old financial guideline says housing shouldn't exceed 28% of your gross monthly income. To spend $6,045 a month at 28%, you need to be earning roughly $259,000 a year. Even under looser rules, you still need to be making over $200,000. What percentage of American households earn $200,000 or more? About 12 to 13%. That is the entire pool of people who can comfortably afford a $750,000 home. So who is buying them? The answer is repeat buyers rolling equity, tech workers with stock packages, people getting a massive gift from their parents, or, and this is the scary one, people who are quietly living through a slow-motion financial catastrophe disguised as home ownership. Let's look at a couple we'll call the Bennetts. Combined income, $250,000. Top 10% of households. On paper, they're winning. They close on a $750,000 home. Their take-home pay after taxes and 401k is about $11,200 a month. Their housing cost is $6,045. That leaves them $5,155. Daycare, $2,800. 2 car payments, $1,300. Insurance and gas, $550. Groceries, $1,300. Utilities, $450. Student loans, $800. Health insurance, $400. Phones and internet, $250. Added up, they are $3,000 in the red every single month. And that's before a date night, before buying kids' shoes, and before the dishwasher breaks. This is what $250,000 a year looks like right now. She puts back the $7 strawberries at the grocery store. He drives 40 miles out of his way to return a $23 shirt because the money matters. They wear the costume of the upper middle class, but they are 3 months from a problem they can't solve. And here's the breaking point. She's pregnant. When baby number 2 arrives, daycare becomes $5,000 a month. The math goes from bad to literally impossible. The mortgage doesn't care. It sends the same bill every month. When people ignore the math and stretch anyway, things get ugly. FHA mortgage delinquencies just hit 11.5%, the highest since 2021. A recent survey found that 73% of first-time buyers have regrets about their purchase, mostly because hidden costs and maintenance ended up far higher than expected. Imagine it's 5 years from now. You're 44. The water heater is making a sound you've been pretending not to hear for 8 months. Your roof needs $22,000 of work, and you don't have it. From the outside, you look like you're winning. From the inside, you are working a job you'd leave in a heartbeat if you didn't have this house holding you hostage. So let me give you permission to do something almost nobody will say out loud. You can just not buy the house. You can run the numbers, see they don't work, and walk away. Renting is not throwing money away. Paying a mortgage you cannot actually afford is throwing money away, just with extra steps and worse consequences. If you take that $150,000 down payment and invest it in a total market index fund, over 30 years it grows to roughly $2.6 million. If you invest the monthly difference between renting and owning, that adds another $4.5 million. The math doesn't require you to own a house. The culture does. But here is the real takeaway.
This was never really a video about $750,000 houses. It's a video about what an entire wage class is still allowed to own in this country. In 1985, a public school teacher could afford a house in most of America. In 2026, a physician can't afford one in half of it. Nurses, teachers, electricians, cops, the people who hold the country together have been quietly reclassified as too poor to own a home in the regions where their work is most needed. That is not a personal finance problem. That is a structural redefinition of what ownership means. The mortgage and real estate industries have no reason to bring this up, so it falls to us, running the numbers at our kitchen tables, to notice what is happening. Run your own numbers. Be honest about what you see, and if the math doesn't work, that's not you failing the system, that's the system telling you the truth.